Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for this impact review. Now, I'm going through everything very quickly because we want to get to the 5-ton elephant in the room, which is Dixie and Hulk Hogan. And where is this leading into Bound for Glory? First match we got. We got Hardy and Manic versus Kenny King, baby, and Sabin. Good match. Austin Aries on commentary was great. He made Mike TNA and Taz seem like crap. I loved it. I just wish Todd had been there and either Mike TNA, well, get rid of Taz, bring back Todd. That would have been more than acceptable. But you got my point. We got Hardy winning the match, and the match wasn't bad. But hearing at the end of it, there's going to be, well, we're going to get an X Division, not Triple X, sorry. Had some on my mind. Because I was going to look at Ben Diesel later. The Ultimate X match. I said this a couple of impacts ago that it would be great for Hardy to go for the title. And now he is. Will he win the title at Bound for Glory? Because it's going to happen there. I don't know. I'm hoping he does. I've already said this very clearly. No one else has stated this, but I believe it's better for him to actually win the title and hold it for a couple of months. We don't spotlight the X Division. I know there's a good chance that he may not even be seen on television, but know that a very good star in a Jeff Hardy has that title, will give it prestige whenever it's shown. And they can put an entirely new dynamic on it. Have Jeff Hardy go up against Kenny King. Have him go up against Austin Aries again. But before he deals with Sabin, and he can go up against Manic. Or anyone else. Hell, we could have anyone else on the roster like a Kaz, like a Kazarian, even a Robert Roode, even though Robert Roode doesn't fit the class. It could still be done. Something to challenge Hardy and to bring prestige to that title. That's what I want to say. That's what happened. Now, I want to say that after that, Ego basically said, hey, Bobby, what? We're still good, yeah, but we have a gift for you. Finally, you're going to get the recognition you deserve, my friend. You are going into the Hall of Fame for the International Gentlemen's Club. I call them the trifecta of professional wrestling. Our Hall of Fame. It is a black tie affair. We're going to get it done in the next couple of weeks. Maybe going to Bound for Glory, I can't remember. But we're going to be doing it. You come in a great suit, and we will present you with the Hall of Fame plaque or whatever they're going to give him. I can't wait to see that shit. I said this already. Bad Influence is wonderful. Totally charismatic. Throw Robert Roode into the mix. He's more of a straight man compared to the two. But still, a straight man adds on to the comedic genius of a Kaz and Daniels. And I can't wait to see it. Now, since I talked about Kaz, Daniels, and Roode, Magnus versus Ego. Gauntlet match. This entire thing was just to spotlight Magnus. And at the end of it, Magnus lost to Roode. He faced Kaz and Daniels, beat them. I enjoyed it. I thought Daniels' match was better than Kaz's match. That's what I thought. But you guys can choose for yourself. Tell me below which one you liked. When it came to Robert Roode coming in the ring, and I'm not trying to be nasty or graphic, but when you saw Kaz clip a Magnus, and then when a Robert Roode was standing there taking off his robe, if you kind of think about old 70s porn, and you kind of think about Joey Ryan, he tried to look sexy in the ring. He was trying to be the sexy man of TNA. Think about Robert Roode in a room with a woman who does not have any idea what she's about to deal with, and she gets fucking long dong silver. That is the type of movements he did. It wasn't the fact this is highly sexual. I'm not trying to say they're trying to screw some of each other or nothing, but the way you look at Robert Roode when he took off his long when he took off his robe, the man gave off a total sense of dominance. Like, I am going to totally dominate this man. And even though Magnus gave a great showing, he still won it. But this also added on to Magnus, because it just made Magnus a lot more better. Now, when Sting came out, he pretty much told him, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I don't have no opportunities. I keep dropping the ball. And he says, you can't give up. You don't need to drop. You don't need to give up. I didn't give up. I had Sting. I said Sting. I had Ric Flair, the wheeling and dealing, whining and dining. I am Space Mountain, kind of going back to Robert Roode. Man on my side who gave me my cut, my chance. And what did we get from Magnus? I don't got that. And he said, yes, you do now. I challenge you at Bound for Glory. Yes, we need this, but only under one condition. Magnus must be put over 100% clean. If Magnus is not put over by Sting properly, 100% clean in 3 weeks, this was completely useless putting him in Main Event Mafia to highlight him. If this is to highlight Sting, it was fucking stupid. Sting must put him over clean so he can progress. If he does not, then this made no sense, and I hate Main Event Mafia even more. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is might as well get this done. Velvet Sky versus Miss Tessmacher for a number one contendership for the Knockouts Championship at Bound for Glory. The entire situation wasn't a question. I said in my last review, since Leda Tapper was coming, there's only 2 women left. They would have to pull the others off to do something with them. To do something with her. I was hoping they'd do something with her. It can't just be Gail Kim and ODB. So we got these 2 in here to put her over. And I know so many people last year were so angry that the MMA fighter did not win. Elise Velez. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her name properly. I keep botching it. But they wanted her there. But I said 100% clearly, this is a woman that we haven't seen in a long time. This is a younger version of Awesome Kong. As green as hell, but still has great potential. But nobody wanted to hear that for the simple fact that they wanted someone who fits what their criteria is of what they think a woman should be. A MMA fighter, doesn't matter about her size, that can beat the shit out of you. But we're talking about a wrestling business that can have those types of women. Look, let's be honest. Look at Eve Torres. When she was in WWE, she was known to have gone through the Gracie camp and knew Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And they kept highlighting that and kept doing that with her. I'm not saying she was a great wrestler, but we've gone through something like that. Even if she wasn't actually into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and from what I understand, she was. The point is that sometimes you need something different. When is the last time you saw a large woman of that size? Only Awesome Kong. So Awesome Kong is not here, but we have Leda Tapper. And to be honest, it's too soon for her. She's only been there maybe a year. I'd say about 10 months. And she still looks green. But the sheer size she has, and the possibility that they're going to put it with women like a Gail Kim, like a ODB. Pretty much those are the only 2 that really have the best understanding of how to make her look at least decently good. Gail Kim the best. That would be the best option. And what did she do? She destroyed a Velvet Sky that still has not turned heel. She's confusing. She must turn heel for this to work with a... Saman needs her heel. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But we needed Leda Tapper. But I just wish it wasn't right now. We could have gotten a couple of other women in, but it just didn't happen. Now, talking about Saman, his video segment before that match saying, I gotta focus on myself because I have to have this match at Bound for Glory, the Ultimate X for the championship. I need to go into a corner. I need to meditate. I need to get ready. When it comes down to it, I've said this in my last review that I just don't like him as a chicken shit heel. During the match, he had some chicken shit heel tendencies. Not many. Now, here's the problem with me. I just think he has more talent to beat you clean and then rub it in your damn face than needing to act like a scaredy cat and needing a woman to protect himself. That doesn't mean it's wrong. This is just my own personal preference. They've been doing all right with Zane. They've started moving away from being chicken shit to being more aggressive and more dominant. So they are doing what they need to do with Zane. But for me personally, I would have liked him to be dominant from the get-go. I think it would have gave him a better dynamic. But I'm sure everyone else is going to say, dude, it's doing fine. And I agree with you. But this is just my own pet peeve. Because I think Zane being in the Motor City Machine Guns was so good that you could see his own talent could get him over. So let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let us move on to Bully Ray and Joe. Now, we found out early in the night that Bully Ray was going to face Joe. We also found out that during the early segments of the night, this really was the only time that Bound for Glory was mainly highlighted. The beginning of the show, Bound for Glory was highlighted with Bully Ray and AJ Styles. I believe they both did a pretty good video segments. Good promos in the ring. Hearing that Joe was going to face Bully Ray was actually kind of a surprise to me. Now, I know they had faced maybe once or twice last year when he was still face, Bully Ray. But since then, they haven't faced each other pretty much barely at all. So this was kind of refreshing to see this fight. And they got some good chemistry. If this Aces and Eights and Main Event Mafia wasn't in existence, I wouldn't mind seeing a Bully Ray Samoa Joe feud. For me personally, I wouldn't mind to see it. Bully Ray can talk very well. Samoa Joe is not known to be a great talker, but he's so direct in his talking that it would have worked. So in the end, Bully Ray hits Samoa Joe in the face with the chain. Earl Hebner saw it, and then Earl Hebner gets knocked out along with a Samoa Joe. I didn't really think much of it. I thought it didn't really get me anywhere until I saw AJ Styles hit a Bully Ray standing in the aisle with everybody else amongst the audience going, yeah! Next to some nice looking women, not great women, nice looking women. And I felt more hyped for that match now. I'm hyped for that match. I actually want to see what's going to happen at Bound for Glory. But then that really leads me into what's going to happen at Bound for Glory. I'm not talking about the matches. I'm talking about the storylines they've been putting towards Bound for Glory. Now you would say simply, hey, that's exactly the same thing. No, it's not. Because in the last 3 weeks, I've said I've not been hyped for Bound for Glory. I felt that they're building things beyond Bound for Glory and kind of not really highlighting it, not hyping it. This is the only time Bound for Glory has been mainly hyped. I know they got some matches now scheduled for it, but that was it. So let's get to the 50-ton elephant in the room. Dixie and Hulk. Dixie's become a lot more interesting because she's become an evil woman. And now that Hulk has now quit. Oh wait. Dixie said, you're fired. I take that back. You're fired. You never could work in this town again. The old line anyway. Seeing Hulk Hogan quit after getting that line from Dixie Carter, and then seeing an Austin Aries trying to convince him to do the right thing, and then seeing a Sting say, well, I'm with you, don't worry, no matter what, do the right thing. It led pretty well. And then the video package even before that, showing the arc of Hulk Hogan, which wasn't good. I wish they hadn't done that. They could have just stuck. I'm not saying it was terrible, but when you see how Hulk Hogan, when he came in, went to Immortal, then went down, and then went back up a little bit, right before Aces and Eights, and he was climbing, and then Aces and Eights leveled it off, and then dropped it. The problem for me is this. He hasn't finished anything with Bully Ray, so it's still not complete. And I believe they're going to go completely away from Bully Ray and Hulk Hogan. That's gone. And that just leaves a big plot hole. For me, I just don't feel it's right. But seeing that he's now quit, where maybe later he'll rehire, he'll become a wrestler winner. I'm not saying he'll wrestle. I'm just saying, you know what I mean. They'll do something later. But the point of the matter is this. When Dixie lost Hulk Hogan, it made a different dynamic for the show and the pay-per-view. And oh, almost forgot. Seeing Dixie shocked, grabbing onto Hulk Hogan's hips and onto his leg, one that made me think of his sex tape, which I haven't seen yet. I don't think I can hear that man moan. I don't want to know. That's too much awesomeness to be hearing. 2, seeing Dixie's boobs bounce, and at her age, they still bounce pretty good. I enjoyed that. Made her look more sexy, more desirable, more interesting. And that's good. I don't know what the hell is going to go on now. I have no idea how the show is going to progress, going to Bound for Glory and beyond. But that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. They've hyped up a storyline that kind of buries a bit of Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory is that's not being highlighted here. It's like 10-10-10. It basically buried the pay-per-view. Everybody wanted to know what 10-10-10 was. But in this case, wondering, oh no, sorry, my cat just made a little bit of a mess. Wondering what's going to happen is the question here. The pay-per-view is secondary. AJ Styles and Bully Ray's match is probably secondary compared to if Dixie can even have the show, let alone have matches that are going to be good. There is the problem. I just don't feel hyped for this show. There are things in it I'd like to see. I want to see if Lady Tapa is going to be seen at Bound for Glory. Because now there's going to have to be a triple threat because no one won that match for a #1 contender. The tag team match. Well, there is no tag team match. But maybe there will be one at Bound for Glory. Because we just saw our tag champions have a pretty good promo. Maybe we'll have that. Ego may do something on Bound for Glory or just before. Maybe the Hall of Fame. They're going to put up. Aces and Eights. What's going to happen with them? I really don't care about them, but that could be highlighted. Which I think sucks. Bully Ray and AJ Styles is a big question what's going to happen. And then Sting putting over Magnus. That has to happen. That's very important. But this storyline of Dixie Carter becoming an evil bitch and being like a early Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I'm sorry, this is what it looks like to me. This is kind of like a bite off of what happened during the very early stages of the Attitude Era when Mr. McMahon was created. This is to me what's going on. I don't think they're going to be doing the Dixie chick or something like that, but this is what I see is going to happen. I just don't know what they're going to do about this. So this show just didn't feel like it's hyping for Bound for Glory. Maybe in the next 3 weeks, this is the 4th. Maybe they'll do something in the next 3 weeks that will hype me and then change my mind. And I'm really hoping for that. And if you think I'm not wanting it, I do. But I just don't see it. I can't even give this a proper rating because I just don't see this really going into Bound for Glory. And I'm not going to give one. I'm only going to say this. This show is hyping for a question mark of what happens to the company itself. Not what's going to happen at the pay-per-view. That's what we got from this show. A question mark for the company. Not the pay-per-view. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel and give me a thumbs up. And I would love to hear someone's thoughts about this because I'd like to understand. Maybe I'm missing something. Who knows? I could be missing something very important. I would like your opinion. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.